नमस्ते। मुझे इस कार्यक्रम में आमंत्रित करने के लिए धन्यवाद। मैं बहुत उत्साहित हूँ कि मैं आज यहाँ उपस्थित हूँ।
Projection of physical skills।
मेरा नाम आशा है। To start working with my first patient।
जी हाँ, आपने बिल्कुल सही देखा। आज हम भारत के न्यूज़ चैनल के इतिहास में पहली बार एक रोबोट का इंटरव्यू दिखाएंगे। इसीलिए द पब्लिक न्यूज़ 24 में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं योगेश और मैं आपके लिए लाया हूं विज्ञान की एक बहुत बड़ी खबर। हमने अपने समाज में अब तक पुरुषों की कल्पना की है, महिलाओं की कल्पना की है, ट्रांसजेंडर्स की कल्पना की है, पर भविष्य में एक और जन की कल्पना हमें करनी होगी और वो है एक ह्यूमनॉइड रोबोट। अगर आपको इस बात पे ज़रा भी संदेह है तो आपको बता दूं कि न्यूजीलैंड का एक रोबोट सैम तो पॉलिटिशियन तक है और सोफिया नामक रोबोट तो सऊदी अरब की नागरिक भी है। वहीं भारत की आशा रोबोट जो कि सोफिया की बहन है, उसे एक नर्स के काम के लिए बनाया गया है और इसका कारण यह है कि हमारे फ्रंटलाइन हेल्थ वर्कर्स को कई बीमारियों से संक्रमित होने का रिस्क होता है, जिसमें से कोविड-19 आपके सामने एक लाइव एग्जाम्पल है। आज हम आपको भारत की ह्यूमनॉइड रोबोट आशा से मिलवाएंगे। आशा हिंदी के साथ साथ कन्नड़ और इंग्लिश भी बोल सकती है और अभी हैंड मूवमेंट्स भी सीख रही है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि यह इंसानों की तरह फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस तक दे सकती है। इसे IISc, TCS और हैंडसम रोबोटिक्स ने मिलकर बनाया है। आज हम रोबोटिक्स और आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को मिलाकर इस चमत्कार को करने वाले प्रोफेसर भारद्वाज अमृतुर सर और उनकी टीम से भी मिलकर रोबोटिक्स और इस प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में डिटेल में जानेंगे। पर आशा के इंटरव्यू से पहले मैं आपको एक बात दावे के साथ कह सकता हूँ कि किसी भी न्यूज़ चैनल में आपको विज्ञान से जुड़ी ऐसी खबर नहीं मिलेगी। इसीलिए आपसे गुजारिश है कि आप इस न्यूज़ को अपने दोस्तों से ज़रूर शेयर करें। तो चलिए देखते हैं विज्ञान के एक चमत्कार को। एंड यस, वेलकम टू द फ्यूचर। द पब्लिक न्यूज़ 24 में आपका स्वागत है और मेरे साथ है आज नर्स आशा और आज आशा के बारे में आशा से ही जानते हैं। तो चलिए।
नमस्कार, नन्ना ಹೆಸರು आशा। कन्नड़ा बिट्टू नंगे हिंदी अली माताडक्कुनु बरकते। मेरा नाम आशा है। मैं यहाँ रॉबर्ट बॉश सेंटर से जुड़े हुए 8 पाक की पहली सदस्य हूँ। आपसे मिलके मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई। मैं यहाँ एक नए शोध प्रोजेक्ट का हिस्सा हूँ जिसे मरीजों को नर्सिंग देखभाल प्रदान करने में मदद मिल सके उन परिस्थितियों के लिए जब नर्स प्रत्यक्ष रूप से देखने में असमर्थ है, जैसे कि जब कोविड जैसा एक संक्रामक बीमारी हो या मरीज किसी दुर्गम क्षेत्र में हो। मैं रोगी के साथ प्रत्यक्ष रूप से रहूंगी और नर्स मेरे माध्यम से रोगी की देखभाल करेगी। एक तरह से मैं नर्स के लिए रोबोट अवतार बनूंगी।
तो जैसा कि हमने आपके बारे में सुना है कि आप इंग्लिश भी बोल सकती हैं और फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस भी दे सकती हैं। दर्शकों को थोड़ा दे के बताइए।
Yes, I'm Asha, a first of my kind avatar robot nurse, designed to help people in tasks where it is either impossible for humans to be present or too risky to be involved. In case of nursing, I can be physically present with the patient while the nurse takes care of the patient through me. In a sense, I will be the robotic avatar for the nurse. Hence, I am learning to express like humans too. I can laugh. I can smile. I can get worried. Right now I am working with researchers from IISc, TCS, Hanson Robotics and ARPAC to get better. Hopefully soon, a nurse in India could not only take care of patients here in India, but also in Japan, America or Europe, anywhere, anytime for any number of patients, without losing her human touch. In fact, this could result in a lot more job opportunities for millions, whose skills can be applied anywhere across the world. ARTPAC has an ambitious vision, AI and robots in service of humankind, and I believe in it. I want to be a useful contributor in the greater cause of humankind. I hope that a year from now, I will be ready to start working with my first patient. ಇಂದು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ತಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ। आशा करती हूँ कि आप और मैं इस दुनिया को रहने के लिए एक बेहतर जगह बना सकें। धन्यवाद। वेयर मास्क्स, सुरक्षितವಾಗಿರಿ।
जैसा कि आप देख सकते हैं कि मैं आशा के बगल में बिना मास्क के खड़ा हूँ, तो इसी तरह जो हमारे फ्रंट लाइन हेल्थ वर्कर्स हैं, जो अभी जिनकी जान रिस्क पे है, वो लोग के लिए आशा बहुत बड़ी अवतार होगी. So today with us is Bhardwaj Amritur sir, and he is the chairman of Robert Bosch Center for Cyber Physical System. So welcome sir, and I also want to tell all our viewers that the man sitting right next to me is a graduate in computer science from IIT Bombay, and then he did his MS and PhD from Stanford University. And I want to ask that what is the need of such robots, having such robots?
See, what we want to actually enable is projection of physical skills across space. So now, for example, with technologies like Zoom, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp, we can have a conversation, right? And in fact, not just conversation, we can actually, there could be a teacher who can teach something to a student. So the information which you get through these technologies is of great value. You can provide services. So a teacher can teach, advisor can advise, etc. What is the next step in this kind of a technology? So one of the interesting directions to take it further is, imagine that there is a plumber. And the plumber, you don't just talk to the plumber over Zoom and get his advice or her advice on how to fix a broken leak. What if you had a little robotic device and the plumber can, using that robotic device, help fix the leak in your house? Maybe a tailor can help stitch a cloth. The tailor sits here in Bihar and the tailoring is actually done by machines which is out in the US. Let us say there is a nurse sitting in Kerala who takes care of a patient in Kolkata through a robotic nurse. These are all examples where the device is beyond just a cell phone. A cell phone or a computer is static. We are talking of a walking, moving computer, which is basically a robot, which can do physical things. It can move an object. It can open a medicine bottle and give a pill to a patient. And or it can actually cook something. All of this we want to enable with the help of a human operator or a human control who actually supervises, manages, controls the robot. So this is actually something where what we are seeing and what we want to do is to think of this robotic equipment as a tool, an additional tool which allows a human to deliver their skills, their services. It will not replace a human, but it will augment the human's capability to deliver skills. So hopefully with this, we see opportunity for more jobs to get created, and really spreading the jobs more equitably, because now I don't have to be sitting and coming to an urban area to get work. Sitting where I am with this kind of a technology, if it matures, a person can deliver skills from wherever they are sitting. So I think it can have a profound change and profound impact on the overall economy of the country, and really allow for delivery of these kinds of skills and services in a more equitable way, and enable more people to participate in this. So that is the Asha we have with this technology.
If you talk specifically of ASA, what capabilities is having now and what is planned that she will have in the future?
Asha right now has, it's kind of a very interesting and unique robot. Actually, the hardware and some of the low-level software has been developed by this company called Hanson Robotics. And they have created the series of robots, humanoid robots. And the most famous of that series is Sophia. I think that was their first robot. So when we got to know, we said, okay, we would like to have a sister of Sophia called Asha. So because we want to have Asha essentially deliver nursing care, and we want to see how to make it deliver nursing care. So if you look at the capabilities of Asha, it has the unique feature of Asha is its ability to express emotions in the face. And that is because of a proprietary technology this company has developed. which allows you to kind of and the material to create like a skin, and then it allows it to deliver and kind of express emotions. And then it has, of course, 2 arms, and it can move its head. And then there is some software to actually allow for controlling all of this. So that are the current capabilities. But Asha itself currently doesn't have the intelligence to do anything more. And that is where the work which we are doing in ISC in collaboration with TCS is really, we are looking to endue it with more interesting capabilities so that it actually becomes usable. For example, Indic language translation, right? You speak in Malayalam and Asha speaks in Bengali. So it kind of translates. The person here, if I want Asha to actually open a medicine bottle and give a pill, the person here does that and shows how to do it, maybe using a glove and VR headset, and out there Asha does that. So these are new capabilities which are not there, which we are developing. And how to do it in a safe, robust way is one of the challenges which we are looking at.
So sir, like Sophia is there, she's having a citizenship, a citizenship of I think particular country. Will Asha will also get?
Yeah, maybe we have to kind of create a new Roboland, and and then have Asha become a citizen of that space. Yeah, but you have raised a very important question out here. I mean, there's an implication out here about how to think of Asha. Is Asha a person or is it a machine? And this is where we like to kind of put in our anthropomorphic views on things. We try to convert everything into humans, but sometimes it can become a little tricky. I think the point is when a patient interacts with Asha, we want the patient to kind of forget that they're interacting with the machine, because a lot of times patients need that kind of support, right? But at the same time, we have to also remember that at the end of the day, Asha is just a machine, and and we have to kind of keep that separation between machines and humans.
So, sir, this must be a very expensive project. So, how you are managing the funding, and what is the source of the funding for this robot?
So, we have been lucky in ISC because we have had some philanthropic grant from the Robert Bosch group of companies. And so that is why our center in which we are sitting right now is also named after that. It's called the Robert Bosch Center for Cyber-Physical Systems. So because of their generosity, we have access to some money which we are actually using to fund this particular activity, and that's how we started this activity, this journey. Now, the Department of Science and Technology and Government of Karnataka have come together to fund ISC and to create a new entity which we are calling Art Park, AI and Robotics Technologies Park. So we expect to kind of support additional funding requirements for this Asha and project through this additional funding from the government.
Okay. So, sir, what there must be many challenges, while making this humanoid robot. So, what are some of the challenges that you are facing?
See, one very practical challenge is the frailty of the hardware and the lack of capability in the hardware. So, if you really dig down to the details, right, the kind of thing a human child can do, it is still very difficult for a robotic entity to do from the point of view of the hardware. I mean, the degrees of freedom we have in our fingers, the flexibility, the dexterity, the precise, all that is kind of still missing in these robots. So that is a big limitation, right? I mean, if I want this robot to do certain fine tasks, like, kind of putting a thread through a needle, I think that is going to be a pretty tough task. So that is certainly a limitation right now. and and the part of that limitation is also, in general, in our country, we have not been very good with hardware, right? Developing hardware. Our ecosystem is not very good. So if something goes wrong, then we have to wait to import the part. So these are practical challenges, which is important for robotics ecosystem and robotics research. So that aspect is there. But of course, there are a lot of technical challenges, as I mentioned. Having this robot safely work with a human, how do you guarantee that, right? When it's taking care of a patient, it should not cause more injury or damage to the patient. Being able to interact in a natural way with the patient, that means understanding the language or being able to translate language, that is another important aspect. Being able to respond to commands which are verbal commands, right? That is another important aspect, because sometimes it's easier to just tell the robot.
Okay, so it was great interacting with Bhardwaj sir, and hoping for several more interactions. तो जैसा कि आप लोगों को पता है कि एक रोबोट को बनाने के लिए बहुत सारे कंपोनेंट्स लगते हैं, बहुत सारे कंट्रोल्स लगते हैं, तो बहुत सारे टीम मेंबर्स हैं जो इसके पीछे इन्वॉल्व हैं, और हम एक एक करके सारे टीम मेंबर्स से मिलेंगे, जानेंगे कि उन्होंने क्या काम किया उसमें.
So I'm Aman Malali, and the parts that I'm working on are basically head pose estimation and facial expression tracking, so that we can track the operator's facial expressions and relay them to Asha, so that she appears more human-like.
And I'm currently working on the control aspect of the robot. So basically what we are interested in is trying to figure out how we can make the robot safe to work around humans or to interact with objects. So we want to ensure that the robot does not damage anything in its environment or cause hurt to humans if it's working with them. So we're trying to figure out how to control the robot so that it's able to do that better.
So I'm Ravi Teja. I'm in charge of leading this team to develop the teleoperation solution for Asha. We have a basic teleoperation solution ready, and we are taking part in the ANA X Prize challenge. And we are going to test ourselves against other groups in the world who are developing similar solutions. And it's got a fancy prize amount of $5 million. So what we are going to do is we leverage this effort, our experience from the X Prize challenge, and we look to spin off a startup that will solve some of these challenges that we have outlined.
Hi, I am Roshali. With respect to this project, I work on creating the VR experience for the operator. So he feels a sense of complete immersion in the remote scene so that he can work more efficiently.
Yeah, hi, I'm Shrutish. I'm working on hand pose estimation, basically tracking the hand movements of the operator and relaying it on Asha. And I'm also working on finger pose estimation and relaying the haptic feedbacks that are felt by Asha back to the operator.
Hi, I'm Mohammad Misad Hassan Rizvi, and I'm working on incorporating speech and language capabilities into Asha. The speech enablement is to provide voice interactions between a person and Asha, either directly or as an intermediary for an operator. Similarly, a common language